The Invisible Orange, Canadian independent concert promoter, presents Orange Scene Video Ball.
Okay, again. Hello. Here we are with Mr. Nasty from Crack Horror.
Hi everyone.
Hey, Nasty. Yeah, so how's it going, man?
Fabulous, baby, fabulous.
Really?
Yeah. How you doing?
Good for you, yeah. Well, we're making the best out of what we can right here. So yeah, good in general. So
Awesome.
anyway, so Nasty is the leader of the band Crack Horror. He's been part of the Vancouver death metal scene for like 30 years or so. Why don't you tell us more about you?
Oh, I love talking about me. Thank you for asking. Yeah, so I don't really want to call myself the leader of the band. Myself and Bitch Slapper are the two co-owners of the band. And as far as other projects I've been in, it's been Tendinitis, Muspelheim, Tard, Abuse. What else is up there? Looking for reference, I forget, man. A bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, a bunch of stuff over the years.
Yeah, we remember we met when you were with Muspelheim at that Moonspell show.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah. Well, I remember seeing you playing with bands on the stage of the old Cobalt 2, right? Like, yeah, that was good times there.
Yeah, that was the golden era for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I probably played the Cobalt 100 times. Like, I'm not even kidding. And then when we weren't playing there, we were hanging out there. So it was like, yeah, back in the day when,
Awesome.
didn't have a real job, just played in like 3 different bands and.
Well, let's talk about the one band in particular now. It's Crack Horror. For people that don't know Crack Horror, what can they expect when they listen to it?
So the style I would describe is like chunky, brutal, nasty, heavy, blast beats, death metal. With like grooves and kind of like a lot of catchy shit too. Songs generally are short in duration, a couple minutes. Get in, hit them hard, get out.
You have one album out, and now we're gonna be talking about like the upcoming album, which is out
on CDN Records. Yes, our second album called Let This Be a Lesson. The pre-sales are on right now. Go to their website, pre-order one. We would much appreciate it. It helps support the band and all that.
What can you tell us about the process of creating this album?
Oh, it's horrendous, man. It's horrendous. The worst experience of my life. I've never, ever dealt with this much fucking bullshit putting an album together. So the music itself, everybody that's involved in it is on top of their game, right? The recording process, it's super painful. I hated every second of it, but the end product is fucking awesome. I love it. I want to commend everybody on doing an awesome job at their specific job, and Jason Martin, who engineered and produced it, did a fucking stellar job as well. But yeah, just everything else, it was just not just the personalities involved in creating this thing. Those 4 people should never be in a room together ever again. Myself and Bitch Slapper had fired everybody after it was done because it just had to be done. So we actually have a new vocalist already. And once this album is released, we will be auditioning guitar players. If there's any killer shredders out there, get a hold of us. But yeah, killer album, terrible process.
And what could you tell to people that are already familiar with Crack Horror, and then maybe they're familiar with the first album and your previous live shows when there were live shows? What can they expect in the new album?
Yeah, so our debut album, Inner Peace, came out in 2005. So basically our first album and second album are coming out 15 years apart. I don't know that's like, who else does that, right? Short history. The band was formed in 2003, put out an album in 2005, and then broke up right away. We all went off, did other bands, and then we reformed in 2014, I think. The brutality is still there, but there's others. It's way more polished. The songwriting is better. It's kind of the same ideas, but it's just like more advanced, more mature. There's a couple songs I hate, but people that just can't grasp death metal will probably really like. So there's a few more flavors in there, and yeah, just more refined. But the brutality and evil, nasty shit's there too, for sure.
You have a single out, right? A video that we can check out soon.
Yes, there's a song called "Bleed Forever" that we made a video for.
Anything about this video that you want to share, or like how was it like creating it?
Yeah, I mean, we basically just blacked out our jam space, and it's a live performance, and it's also a lyric video, so the lyrics run through it. Just got drunk and air guitared our parts and air vocaled and whatever, right? You know, try to match it up, and then doing it over and over and over, same fucking song, blasting through the speakers, and you know, you're trying to.
We were talking about the cola you mentioned, golden years, and so as having been through 3 different decades of the Vancouver metal scene, like in the 90s, the '80s, the teens, what would you say is what has worked before and what hasn't worked, and you think that the current or future members of the metal scene can help to make it better?
Stop whining online. Yeah, things, I mean, you know, I'm old, right? We're the same age, like pushing 45. Also, I think music used to be a lot heavier in this city.
Yeah.
You know, back in the early 2000s, in my opinion, was kind of.
Grind scene, right? It was.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know, the bands just, there's a lot of like, you know, there's more emphasis on death metal, which is my preferred style, right? But I mean, it just depends what you like. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff now too, but I just think bands just worked harder back then, and the scene, I don't know, like, yeah, hanging out at the Cobalt and the Brickyard and the Columbia, it was just, it was a different vibe back then. I preferred it personally. You know, in the 90s, we were still teenagers, right? And just getting, I guess, some of my first shows that I remember playing would have been like Club Paradise or the Niagara. You remember those places?
No, no. I wasn't
Actually,
here
you weren't here yet. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, 2003, 4.
Yeah. So I mean, metal's metal, right? It's just a different time. Younger generation is super stoked on what's happening now, and that's awesome too, right? But I think we're all kind of partial to shit we grew up with.
Okay, well, thanks, Mr. Nasty, for this interview and sharing about the upcoming album.
CDN Records has the pre-sales. Yep.
Yeah, and here's a link for you guys. Check it out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
All right.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks to you, man. Yeah. All right.